what I wanted to read. Schöne good Woche. The Rambam in Hilchos Melochim, when he brings down the evolution of the Tayag Mitzvahs, he says that the Tayag Mitzvahs were not given all in once on Sinai, but they were given in multiple steps. So Odom Rishon received some mitzvahs, Amrom has introduced some mitzvahs, Yitzchok, Yankov, and then he says that Amrom, the father of Moshe Rabbeinu, also introduced mitzvahs in Mitzrayim. So the notion is that Amrom gave mitzvahs in Mitzrayim, and nobody knows in the Meforshei of the Rambam. They don't know where he takes this from, and they don't know what mitzvahs did Amrom add to the Tayag mitzvahs. And so you have a lot of different opinions. Some say it's against abortion, that they told the Shifro Puro not to kill the babies in the mothers like to make abortion. The other one is possibly pro revu, that you don't have to have children, and that you have to have children, you have a mitzvah to have children, and therefore because people were stopping having children, because of course if you have such a gezerah, such a thing that all the male boys will be killed, then people were refraining from having children. Makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't have a lot of children. I mean, if I know that what's going to happen, chas v'sholem. And so, but it's a lot kind of question. The answer that comes back from the Maritz Chais and also from the Rogatchover is that it is the etzem wedding. So the mitzvah of having a wedding. And the concept of wedding was introduced by Amrom, because he says, Vayelech ish mebeis Levi, Vayikach es bas Levi. And so you have here Vayikach, and what is Vayikach is wedding. And then today I would like to discuss a little bit more the word Vayikach, Kiche, as being wedding, and what part of the wedding is it. And this is what I would like to speak today about, and then what the implications on other things if we'll have time.
That was it by the Uvers.
Oh, yeah. So of course there is. Very good. So there was always a concept of wedding. He says v'dobak ve'ishtoi. So there is a concept that the person is married to his wife. There is the concept by Avimelech of Be'ulas Baal, that Sora was a Be'ulas Baal. So the concept existed. But so what part of the concept did not exist that Amrom introduced? And this is the way I want to position it. So we
define what you call a
wedding. Exactly. Let me start. That's the whole start. So we know the wedding that we know of the Torah Shebal Peh is that we know that the wedding is split in two. So you have Erosin, Kidushin on one hand, and you have Nissuin, Chuppah on the other hand, and also intercourse with the wife. So we know theoretically the way that I always was explained was that Hashem does not want you just to have intercourse with a woman. You first have to marry her. In other words, she has to become your wife. Like this, when you don't want her, then you have to divorce her and pay her the ksuva. So it's a way of making sure that two things. There's a way of making sure that the person should not just have intercourse with a woman, one night stand, as they call it, to avoid this type of behavior. Hashem says that no, you have to have Kidushin first. And the second part is, of course, that when I want to get married to a woman, it takes months, maybe a year to prepare for the wedding. And a lot of investment is going on. Have to rent a hall and the music and the droshes and the food. Yeah, and then suddenly she decides that she doesn't want. And so that's why you make Kiddushin. That Kiddushin is kind of a reservation. You reserve this woman that she is going to marry you, and then the husband can prepare for the wedding. Today it's the opposite. Today the woman prepares the wedding. But theoretically it was, in the time of Chazal, it was the chosen that was preparing the wedding, and then he asked the Kala to come to his wedding. And to avoid that she would marry somebody else, he reserved her. Kiddushin, once it's Kiddushin, Aret Mekudeshesli, she cannot marry somebody else. So we know that there are two phases in the wedding. You have on the one hand Erosin, and on the other hand you have Nissuin.
But today that's together, no?
Yeah, today we do it in one. We do it in one, but one day. because we do Kiddushin on the one hand, so Ariat Mukudeshesli, we make a broch on that, and then we read the Ksuba. And what I've seen is that why do we read the Ksuba? It's a strange minig. It's just to split the Erusin from the Nissuin. So we make a bit of a hefsek, so they should, because we're going to do the two mitzvahs in one, but not to do one after the other. So we give a bit of time between the two so that we can make a brocha again and the sheva brochas. So basically, the whole idea is the Nissuin then with the sheva brochas, and that's the second part. So the reading of the Ksuba is a hefsek to separate the Kiddushin from the Nissuin. That's all I heard. It's not universally accepted, but it's a nice way of explaining the process. But we do it all in one. What Nissuin is also a discussion. Is it the chuppah? Is it yichud shtibel? The fact that yichud shtibel is the Nissuin, the sheva brochas, the wedding, the dancing, the suda, or is Nissuin the mesira from the kala to the chosn? The parents of the kala, as we shall see, brings the kala to the parents of the chosn. So there is a lot of discussion in the poskim and in the meforshim in what is Nissuin and what is Kiddushin. So it seems that Amrom introduced us, Vayelech ish mebeis Levi, Vayikach es bas Levi, that it seems from the Sotmas Paneach and from the Maritz Chais that this is what Amrom introduced to us. In other words, introduced us one of the two concepts. Either he introduced us Kiddushin, or he introduced to us Nissuin. Okay, so always remember there's Kiddushin and Nissuin, and Amrom introduced us something new. And now the question is, what is Vayikach es bas Levi? Did he do Kiddushin or did he do Nissuin? And so there's a big machloikus. There's a big machloikus in this concept. What is Vayikach? So the Chinuch in the Sefer HaChinuch, he says that in Mitzvah Reish Vov, Shelo Yovoy al Shtei Achyois Mechaim, a person is not allowed to marry the sister of his wife. So once he married his wife, he's not allowed to marry her sister anymore. And Loisikach is that he is over even when he does only Kiddushin. So not only when he lives with her, but even with Kiddushin, there's a shaila. And Chinuch says, Shatoir Omro Loisikach umashma loshen Kiddushin. So kicha for the Chinuch means Kiddushin. Yeah. So this is the first step already. The Chinuch clearly says that kicha means Kiddushin. In other words, what you can learn from here is that what Amrom introduced is the concept of Kiddushin. And that also makes sense. That in other words, that by the Goyim there is no Kiddushin. By the Goyim, how does it work? Is the Chasana, Leivsis Chatenbom, Bederech Chasnus. The fact there is a concept of husband and wife by the Goyim also. There is an Ejetish, but it is the living together, the Chasana, the wedding itself, the first night, when they start to live together with each other, that makes the concept of being Eshesish and having a bond with each other. And so what we have is we have Kiddushin. We can do a Kiddushin first, Ariat Mukudeshesli. Like this, she's reserved and she's not going to be able to marry anybody else without a get. And therefore, we can prepare for the wedding, as I explained you, and we can then do the Nissuin. So that is what Amrom seemingly has introduced. There is a medrash that confirms what I just said. Amrom zorak lo kesef kiddusheo. I don't know why zorak, but that Amrom actually threw kiddushin, and this is how they want to explain Vayikach. So Vayikach, Amrom threw her kiddushin to Yocheved because he divorced her first, and then he remarried her. There is also Toisus in Yevomus. Clearly, Toisus in Yevomus says that kicha means be'etzem kiddushin. The Toisus says in Yevomus, Toisus explains that the kiddushin that where is it? I saw it before. Toisus Yevomus, the echad lo kosov lo yikach ein isur bekiddushin. So Toisus clearly said that kicha means kiddushin. Yeah. And so only Kiddushin. Oh, sorry? The Gemara as well. Oh, no. The Gemara learns Kicha is their point. That Yeah, ki yikach ish isho. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And that's why most people, that's why I also always understood kicha as being Kidushin, because it says kicha is the Efron. How do we know Kidusha Kesef? From kicha is the Efron. And so theoretically, yes, kicha means Kidushin. So you have here a lot of different sources that clearly state that kicha means Kidushin. And if the kicha means Kidushin, it means that when Amrom has introduced us the mitzvah of wedding, it means that we always had Nissuin, and what he introduced us was the concept of Kidushin. And that's a new mitzvah that Amrom gave us in Mitzrayim. Question is, why did he have to do that? That's the second question. So it doesn't explain why Amrom had to introduce us this concept of Kidushin. Why is it relevant to our understanding in the story of the Torah? There is, however, a second opinion, and this is the one I would like to develop a little bit more. There is a second opinion that says that no, this is that what Amrom introduced was the Nissuin. That Amrom did not introduce to us the Kidushin as we normally learn, but it is the Nissuin, and that is the Topnas Paneach. The Rogachover says in Parshas Shemos, he has a pirush on the Torah. He brings down in Parshas Shemos, Vayikras Bas Levi, Hoisiv Din Shel Nissuin. So Amrom created the concept of Nissuin. And he brings down, as we see in Bava Basra, Daf Kuf Chof Medalev, it's a print mistake. Vayikach Vayachzor Mi Boile, the Gemara asks Vayachzor Mi Boile, why they say Vayikach? Omar Rav Yehuda bar Zevida, Melamed She'otzo Lo Maaseh Likuchin, he made her special Maaseh Likuchin, Hoishivo Ba'apirion, Vaharnu Mirion, Mishoirin Lefoneo. It's a wedding with the children. So she remarried, and it is the two children, Aaron and Miriam, where they were Moishivo Ba'apirion. What is Moishivo Ba'apirion? What is Apirion? It says Rashi in Teuter. So kind of it seems from the Gemara that they went back. She went back to her parents, and he went back to his parents. And then what happened? Or doesn't know if he went back to his parents, but she went back to her parents, and they were bringing her from Beis Ovio le Beis Balo. We shall see in the Zoya something very interesting that here in Antwerp we don't do. Yeah, but we shall see something very interesting. And in others we do, but not in Antwerp apparently, or not everybody in Antwerp. So it is the Mesira Be'etzem, it's kind of a Mesira that goes from Nissuin, means that we bring her from Beis Ovio le Beis Balo. So that's the second opinion. So the second opinion means that that Amrom introduced the concept of Nissuin, and that means that the kicha that it means in the Torah means Nissuin and not Kidushin. That Kidushin always existed, but what did not exist was the ceremonial kinyan. The ceremony of a kinyan, which is the factual bringing the color from the house of the father to the house, from her father to the house of her husband, that we did not exist, and that's what he kind of introduced. This is also the Rambam. The Rambam clearly also holds that kicha is not Kidushin, but the Rambam holds that kicha is the etzem beer, kind of a Nissuin. Because the Rambam says in the Tshuvos, he clearly states like that. In one of the Tshuvos, that people asked him, how can you say that Kidusha Kesef is only the Rabbonon? The Rambam holds a very interesting shitta. He says that what we do today, Kidusha Kesef, is only midrabonon. That it's only midivrei soifrim. Not midrabonon, but midivrei soifrim. So somebody asked him, Mishail, how can you say? I mean, it's mafurish in the Gemara that Kidusha Kesef helped, and we learn it kicha at the airport. And so he gives a whole lomdus. I'm not going to go now into the lomdus, but he says that the only Kidushin, the only wedding that exists in the Torah is what we call the Bulat Baal. It says, "V'vadai v'loy marloi הבעיל ודאי מן התורה. וכן יש לשאול בוודאי ולא מה, לו הבעיל ודאי מן התורה. שהרי לא למדו במידל של 13 מידל. That the be'ila, the intercourse that the husband has with his wife, is for sure min ha-Torah, elo, it says in the posuk, uvoalo, meaning in the girsa from the Frankel is also a girsa, yikach ish isho uvoalo. So he says in the posuk, yikach ish isho, and he says afterwards, uvoalo. Learns the Rambam that uvoalo refers to yikach ish isho. So when a man wants to marry, so the kiyikach means the intention of marrying. The voalo explains what is the kiyikach. So the Rambam learned when it says in the posuk kiyikach ish ishto uvoalo, it's not that there are two separate actions. One is Kidushin and the other one is beer, is Nissuin. But the uvoalo refers to how does he do the kiyikach? By living with her. That's how the Torah teaches us that if you want to wedding with a woman, the kinyan happens by the be'ila, by living with her. And then you can also with the star, and then also with kesef. The Mishnah, isho niknes b'shtar, b'bio b'shtar, or b'kesef, kind of. So and then he learns how we learn star and how we learn kesef. And this is the way that the Rambam learned. Normally we learn yikach ish isho voalo means that when a person wants to marry, he has to be koine her, yikach, that is Kidushin, and then ubualo, and then he's allowed to live with her, right? That's how you learn normally. But here the Rambam clearly doesn't learn like that. He learns that kicha means wedding. There is another, yeah.
How does he learn kesef?
From the Gzir Shove. And the Gzir Shove for
him, is
yeah, so but because it says also kicha in there, it's a lotion of kicha, and it's also a lotion of kicha by the Ephraim. So we learn that on top of that, we also have money. You can give a ring.
Yep.
Yeah, but we learn only from a mufna, from a word. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was not 100% agreeing with you. Because for the Rambam, it's just like we have a word. We look in the whole parshas of wedding. We find the word kicha. We find the word kicha also by the Ephraim. And so we learn Gzir Shove. And then what is Gzir Shove? Like this, like there is kesef that he paid money. So he can also pay money to get married. But it's not the word kicha on itself. It can mean something else. But we learn just this Gzir Shove. And then there is one posuk which clearly seems to be saying that lekicha means wedding. When the Nissuin, it says umio ish asher eras isho veloy lekocho. By the Chozre Melchome, the posuk says umio ish asher eras isho Kidushin veloy lekocho. What does it mean veloy lekocho? It did not have Nissuin. So you see very clearly that lekocho means Nissuin. It's a clear raya from the posuk, be'etzem. Yeah. So how do the others explain this? We need to. That's already another.
Or just by doing when they live together because of it.
Yeah.
What is the if you say that what's the innovation from Amram compared to what was already in place?
Oh, so it is the Mesira from the parents. You have different opinions. You have different ways.
According to the Rambam,
Yeah. So the way that what do you mean according to Rambam?
To say it's a beer.
That lekicha is a beer, yeah.
So it's like the
Yeah, and therefore we need. Yeah, but then you can learn that Kidushin is the.
We knew it before the title, how it was before.
Yeah. So the Nissuin doesn't. That's what I'm saying. The Nissuin does not have to be always that we introduce. Or maybe it is the Kidushin that we introduce. We don't know. We don't know what the Rambam. Yeah, no. According to the Rogatchover that introduced Nissuin, your question is how did they do it before? This I don't know.
What's the innovation?
What's innovation? So the innovation seems to be the Mestira, that it has to be a Mestira. Besides the living together, the parents of the girl have to bring the girl to the color to the.
According to the Rambam, the beer by itself. So that's what we concluded. But you need the process of bringing
of Messira. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say the Marshuva should be towards the beer, but since the Marshuva is from the beginning, so you say all the, but we need all the process.
You need a process. Yeah.
By the goy, we don't need even the beer. Before we get married.
Yeah. Yeah. There's chasnus, but there are chasnus.
They need to have a beer.
Yeah.
No, but we call that a mariage blanc. They don't do it. No, but that's exactly what it is about.
Maybe to insert the not all good.
Yeah. The others. Yeah.
We could say means that he made it with either case.
Yeah.
Le corpo.
Ah.
He did not
Do the Kidushin was not with the beer. Very nice.
So
Very nice.
His aruso is not Beulat Bar.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, I'm writing it down twice. Yes. Veloy Kiddush alidei beer. So it refers back to the Kiddushin. Yeah.
It's not a Beulat Bar.
Yeah. 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 Very nice. Very nice. I agree. I agree. It could be a very nice way. But the pashtus means, kirche means, in this context, kirche means beer, means living together, means Nissuin. There is a very interesting Shitte Mukubetzes. I wanted to, this is really something which is, for me, was completely new. So because it says in the Posuk, in the Brocha, we say, Osar lono esu arusois. So we're not allowed to live with the aruso. That's why it says in the Kiddushin, aruso means Kiddushin. So even when you make Kiddushin, Arat Mukudeshes, you're still not allowed to live with her. Why? My aruso, I can live with her. I already gave Kiddushin. So we still know we need to make an Nissuin. Things that you know, before, you can't just make Arat Mukudeshes in front of two Edim and then go home and live with her. You need to have a Nissuin. Nissuin means something, a ceremony, whatever it means. The Sheva Bruch, the Sud, the dancing, the Yichud Shtibul, whatever it is, you need to have a second step. That's what we learn from Otzar Lono Es Arusoid. So you see here that the Aruso is also and the Suos is Mutter. And so there are Rishonim that want to learn, and that's what the Shittum Goethes bring, that is Minatoire. This is Minatoire, meaning that the Chiv and the Boye Messire, he used the word Messire, he needs a Messire Lechuppe, Shmamino, the Loi Kanyelo Legamre, that it's not the Kenyan that is enough, Hilko Havelo, Arusos Acher. Now I want you to legabe. It's a tremendous chiddush. I give a kiddushin to a woman, and she's mekudeshes, 100% mekudeshes to me. She needs a get. If she lives with somebody else, she's chayiv chenek or skila. If she's a nar or whatever, but this is mekudeshes, 100% mekudeshes. If I live with her without Nissuin, whatever Nissuin can be, is mamash hilko havele karusos acher, like she's married to somebody else legabe. My own Aruso. My own Aruso. She's mine. No, she's like married to somebody else. Unbelievable. What?
It's more color. It's more damage. Don't make it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you make it, so there is something very, very interesting to know. In the Kach Pirshu Areo Vorashbo, two Rishonim that hold like that, as the Shittim Goethes. So you make Kidushin, and then you don't make Nissuin, and Nissuin, we don't know what it is. We can discuss and having all kinds of, all the poskim, they try to, everybody has his opinion what is Nissuin, but if you don't do Nissuin, it's mamish like an Eshes Ish, and it's Chiddush, tremendous Chiddush. For Ostar Lono Es Arusois, Vehiter Lono Es Anusuois, meaning that without Nissuin, she is an Eshes Acher. It doesn't say whether it's going to be higher. Yeah, it seems from Minatoire, yeah. Oh, they ask questions. That's why it's a machloikes. So they want to say it's a machloikes even in the time of the Chazal, if the Nissuin is Minatoire or not. But according to the very good, yeah. According in Yehuda, they used to be together after, but okay, they didn't sleep together. But we say that it's not Cheskas Psul anymore. not a cheskas Nisulo. Yeah?
La version de Marie.
Comment?
La version de Marie.
Ouais, ouais. Yeah. Okay. So we see here a tremendous chidush. So we have here one opinion that says kicher means Kidushin, and therefore every time it says Kidushin. Another opinion is that kicher means Nissuin, whatever this may mean. From the Shitmo Kubet says, he says the boy mesira lechuppah. The mesira is the key point. And I would like to tell you a Zoya. In Antwerp, I was raised that it is the two fathers that bring the chosen and the two mothers that bring the color. And what I remember when my first shidduch I made with my son is the Mechotonim asked if he can bring with his wife the color. And for me, I was shocked. I never heard of such a thing. Modern thing, I don't know. I was embarrassed. I was thinking, my husband, I will do my son. Moderne Sachen, it sounds very modern and very goyish. Sounds goyish.
By the scrutiny, the father of the bride.
Yeah, the father of the bride,
Yeah.
by the goyim.
Yeah.
And so it seems a bit, I felt very, very bad. And then they told me that in Karlin, Hasidim, they also do it like that. So I knew that in Karlin, they did it like that. And it's based on the Zoya. And a few weeks ago, I learned the Zoya. I don't know if you remember, I gave a whole shir about Ashero and Osher. Ashero is the name of Hashem, the female, that is a goddess. The Jewish, we used to have a goddess called Ashero. It's the name of Hashem, the female part of Hashem. And so in there, when it continues about this Ashero, there is also, I just find, Mamashi, when he speaks about the Ashero, he ends up and he says, Vayevi'eo el Odom, says the Zoya. Vayevi'eo el Odom, Hashem brought Chava to Odom. Mehochol lifne, from he Yalpinon, it's another word. The boen abo ve'imo, the kalo, le'aloho birshusei the host. That the father and the mother of the kalo have to bring to the reshus of the host.
So it's the goal.
Yeah, that's the gold standard. Kadover amor as biti nostati leish hazeh. That the man has to say as biti nostati leish hazeh. So it has to be that at least the father, if the mother we don't know, but at least the father for sure has to be with what? Sorry. Okay, yeah, but the Zoya of the father. Okay.
Maybe
But-
the Zoya speaks about it.
No, because it's a Vayivel Odom. Vayivel Odom Chava was an adult. We get.
The local, which we have as well, is that the fathers bring the horse in the hall, and the mothers bring the color in the hall.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't speak about the very couple. I mean, when they enter the building of the.
Ah,
Yeah,
they
that's
are. Today you're
Yeah.
informed. Okay, maybe that's enough. The moment that you come into the building of the chuppah,
Yeah.
because it's the parents that bring, and
Yeah.
there maybe you don't need this
Yeah.
this ganze
Then because there's a separation of sexes, then
Then maybe
it's,
I like it. I like it. Okay. Maybe that's how we
I
can.
think it's something that people forget because
Yeah.
nowadays the important family are right together and the color family, but I think it's an important part.
Yeah.
The
Parents
fathers,
should. The
both fathers should take the horse inside and both mothers.
No, the opposite. It should be at least to come inside. There should be the parent of the colored. Like this, we can be Mekayim the Zoya. Yeah. So it is the father of the color at least should for sure be there when the color comes in. Very nice, but that's not the portion of shot. But I'll accept it as to be able to just explain why we don't. And it's very interesting because what he continues is like that. The whole besto dilohu. That's very interesting. Dechsiva yuvoy eleo. So he says it like that, that the parents bring the color to the husband, but once he marries her, whose house is it? It's the wife's house, says the Zoya. Because it always says uvo eleho. What does it mean uvo eleho? He goes to her. When a husband wants to live intercourse with his wife, he's going to her house. Yeah. So it is the opposite. So once he gets married, the house of the husband becomes the house of the wife.
Because the wife died, and they call their wife.
Yeah,
That,
yeah. Yeah, but
was
it
not
says here,
how
the Zoya, I'm talking about the Zoya. I'm not talking. So Beisa Dilohi, once he gets married, so first the father has to bring from his house to the husband's house. And the moment that she comes in, the house turns into hers. Dilohi, Dichsi Vayova Eleo, Vayovam Gam El Rochel. It says always that he went to Rochel. And then he explains that the ad hoche is la'abo o le'imo le'meva. Lebosar iu yese legabo. The whole base of Dilohi, the whole house of the husband is hers. Ve'yitol reshus mino, and he has to ask reshus to be with her. And basically, it's a very feministic Zoya, that the house of the becomes hers. Vayova eleo. Well, it's also realistic, we know. Yeah, the balbusta is the one that she wears the trousers. Yeah, but it's good to know the Shita Mukubetzes, the Osalono Etzarusois. The Rashbo learns that mamish, you're not allowed to mamish like an Ishatish, and it seems minatoire. It seems like that. And the Zoya also that explains that the idea, the Chuppah Nissuin seems to be to bring over, to make a ceremonial act. Okay.
But you must have symbolic. I just say the most medical stage,
Yeah.
not in the unless you have that don't have both parents available.
But
So
you
we take
assume.
somebody else, another couple that will
I don't think so. I think that all the poskim agree that the Zoyar means even today, and then they have
and
to.
if you're not, for instance,
Yeah.
pass me a former, you don't have just need two able.
Yeah.
And it's kosher.
Yeah, but then we still we're into.
Halachically matter. Maybe it's
No.
symbolically it's important.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's kosher.
It's still kosher, yeah.
Yeah.
But then also typically there is other women that bring. It's also interfering. It's called interfering. We always do.
But
It's not
these women,
market.
they
It's
don't
not market.
They
No,
don't have any shaykhs
No.
to the house.
no. But it's clear that the color goes out of a house and she goes into the house. That's what the chuppah is. It's very important to pay for the chuppah. I'm telling you, the chosn also to pay for the chuppah. They charge you, and it's important to pay because you have to be koine the chuppah. It has to be your chuppah that she comes in.
You would be the first host.
Yeah. Ah, you also paid for the what? Yeah.
Second marriage.
Second marriage. So he paid for his own chuppah. But it's important that no. But I in Gates said they came to me and they told me that I have to pay for the chuppah. And then my Mechutin says it's important, and I didn't know at the time I was like, anyway, you're a bit tachish like that, and but now I understand the Indian, because if you pay the father of the chosen or the chosen, whatever it is, pays for the chuppah, it becomes his, and then when they give it to you anyway, so it's yours. The chuppah is yours, and she comes into your reshus. That's the whole idea of the chuppah. What?
I paid also the chuppah.
Who?
I paid also the chuppah.
For when? When you were?
When I got married.
Oh, when you got married, you paid for the chuppah. Because that was just explained that it has to go, the Nissuin according to some, Nissuin means, it means that the woman goes from her parents' house to the husband's house. It's Mistira, it's Mistira means, transmission, une transmission. What?
That's why the husband is under the chuppah
First. And that's why the husband is there, and then she comes into his. Il doit appartenir à lui pour que quand la cale rentre, les parents ils ramènent la cale, et puis ils se séparent comme ça, et la cale monte, et puis normalement, après ça commence. No, because I think they give it I think they know and they give it already. And you pay anyway afterwards.
La bague aussi, on paye.
La bague
Ça,
aussi
c'est
doit
vrai.
être payée, ça c'est
Ça,
sûr,
la
parce qu'à
paye
toute
doit
façon,
être
ouais, ça il faut l'acheter. Il faut pas que le donner au Chosn pour que ce soit à lui.
Le papier va faire des séries.
Non, on peut pas payer. Ça doit être
Non.
il faut que ça soit, ouais, ça doit être de l'or pur et pas.
Tu ne peux pas payer que ce soit enlevé des papiers de ton
Ah!
corps un mois après.
Ok.
Tu sais, ça, c'est
Ouais,
normal,
ouais. Et bon, alors on essaie de faire tous les khumres parce qu'il y a un problème, c'est d'oreille. On veut que ce soit d'oreille, c'est qu'on fait une brouche là-dessus.
Et si la cale paye tout le mariage, on a fait le papier.
C'est ça que je dis, d'après moi, that's why I understand from Gates that they wanted me Bidafka to pay for the chuppah. I was like, okay, I had to pay for the chuppah. Not normally we shared the chasana. So I understand from here why. Now I understand why. The time I knew, okay, it must be an Indian. But now I understand. The best thing is if the father of the chassan or the chassan himself paid for the chuppah. So
By
that
the
is
whole,
it.
you're talking about the cake, the whole? Or
No,
you're talking
no,
about
no. The
renting of
structure, the
renting of
renting of the place.
Symbolic dollar.
A symbolic, yeah. It was more than symbolic. But what? Sorry.
He wears his color and he puts it over the impress and the color. You know what it means?
Ah, there is also meaning.
You don't know that
No,
meaning?
no.
So it's a very basic meaning.
Yeah,
Starting the after the
yeah.
where
He goes, yeah, over
the color under his
Yeah.
color
after the Kidushin.
after the Kidushin.
Yeah, because then this is the proper Nissuin. That's how he takes her in.
Yeah.
He takes her in very nice.
I
No,
think that's some can do that as well.
I've never seen that. Never seen that. Yeah, yeah. Talisto. Yeah, there is such a concept by also by the Homo Ivrio. Yeah, to be yeah. By Mishpoch Mishpotim, there's the Rabbi Akiva, the Poras Talisto Yoleo. Very nice. So this is the concept of what is the pshat? According to that, it's beautiful. Why? Because what did Amrom? Amrom was a good lador, the Medrash says, and so men and women, the Jewish, the Hebrews, did not marry, and they did not want to marry anymore because of the dangers of the Holocaust that was going to happen. And so he had to. So Miriam said to him, "It's not nice. You have to. It's a mitzvah." And so what he introduced that not only can we marry in secret, a Kidushin, a normal Kidushin, but we have to do a ceremonial wedding as well. So introduce a ceremonial wedding that you have to bring, the parents have to bring, and the husband has to stand, and it's kind of, there's a ceremony that has to happen. It's not enough just to make Kidushin between husband and wife, between Chosn and Kala, but it also has to be with a ceremonial act. And then how far does the ceremony has to go with the dancing and the food? That's already Minatora, not Minatora, but it's the act of giving over. This will create a name. It will have a call, as Chazal say always, a call, and that to make sure that not to do it in secret, but to get married. Like this, he gives an example to push everybody to get married. It's to the Smiths, yeah, but the question is Minator or not, and if this is the Nissuin, it's all you can. I'm sure that you will open every Rosh Yeshiva that learns that writes a sefer on Sechet Kiddushin will have his own kvetch in what is Nissuin and what is Erosin. And you have a lot of different opinions.
So if there's only chuppah for like let's say work time or whatever,
Yeah.
and there's only Kidushin, so the marriage is not valid.
Oh,
I mean, today,
according to what I just read, if you don't have a chuppah, you're not allowed to live with your wife. You're not allowed to live. But anyway, there is a concept.
But not afterwards.
No. As long as there is a chuppah. It happens that sometimes the wedding is cancelled. There is a problem. The food is, I don't know. It can happen that suddenly, or like in COVID, they didn't make a suda. They just got married, made a chuppah, and that's it. And when they ate, everybody in his home. I know somebody who, everybody ate in their own home, and then just to what? Sorry, resume. Yeah. I know. So basically,
You always have a problem because then.
yeah, the color going to the husband is a proper chuppah, but it should be kind of mysterious. It should be kind of the parents should bring, or it should be an act of mamish transmission, not just let's come together and let's have intercourse.
Before it in the English, right? So
Yeah.
he said that it's the civil very even in power and
Yeah.
so the introduction of Jewish between the religious or with Hashem into
Yeah.
yourself, that's the new part.
Yeah. So this could be the Nissuin. This could be the Nissuin.
Even taking they
Yeah.
didn't take it by the even to the but at that time it was only civilian, it was civil
Yeah.
matter. The people
Yeah.
want to live together, there's
Yeah.
no religion.
Yeah,
into
I understand.
it. And
I
we
understand.
introduced the Jewish part with the Bucher,
Yeah.
with the Mitzvah,
Yeah.
and that's how you do it, Kidushin, I think that
Yeah.
for details that
I understand. What you're saying is, that theoretically, it could remain. Marriage by the goyim is like what we call in Chosh Mishpat. It's just a business deal between a husband and a wife. We get married together. If you divorce me, you have to give me a ksuba, and I cannot be with other men. It's like a business deal that we do.
there is no, there is
Yeah.
no religion.
We know religion, and what we introduced, what maybe Amrom introduced, is the religiosity of the concept. That it's not only a business deal between two families, but like how it used to be also between kings and two families, but it's also a religious act, and that's what you're saying, which is more or less the same. But I agree, this is also the ceremonial part.
No, I understand that you can also say that if you say that, I don't understand the added value of Kidushin as explained.
Yeah,
What is the religiosity part of what we just did?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, there's such a wide, and I'm not going to put myself between the heads of the big gedolim. That then what is Nissuin and what is Kidushin? And
you give the share to the people for
yeah, no. But what I mean, I don't know actually. I just don't know. I just know what I just wanted to make sure is. My only part of this shir is to explain that you have the two, which you all know, but that the word kicher, what is the word kicher in the Torah? That's what I wanted to.
Why don't we say that Nissuin is just Kesef Arabi or Finnish?
No, that's the Kidushin.
Kesef alone is not enough.
No, it's not true. Yeah, Kesef is enough. For Kidushin, yeah.
Kesef is not
No. Yeah, it is.
Kidushin, but not for marriage.
For Kidushin. Oh, then you need marriage.
Anyway.
No, so that's the question that everybody, when you learn Kidushin, once you learn. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of Rishonim. There's a big balagan. What is the B of Kidushin? Normally, we learn the B of Kidushin as being an exception. The Rambam holds that Kidushin and B is one. It only means that. Yeah, yeah. But then we also have a Nissuin. The question then the Nissuin is only maybe the Rabbonon to make brochos, to like only the Rabbonon. But that is already married. Kidushin is enough. He's already married. But in the Posuk it says that you have a Bulas Baal. That there is a Bulas Baal and there is a Besulo. And there are differences. A Nara Amoroso, Besulo, is Kila, and a Nara Amoroso that is not a Besulo is Chenek. So you have differences in the Torah. So it seems that there is this concept of Kiddushin in the Torah, there is a concept of Nissuin in the Torah. And so what is those two? You understand? That's the difficulty, which I cannot, I will not give I don't have an opinion. But so there is so many different opinions. But for me, the Nissuin, okay, I will give you my opinion, is what the Shit Makabeta says, is the Mesir, the transmission is the Nissuin. Now, there is also chinuch. The chinuch I forgot to mention. The chinuch has a stira. I just said before. The chinuch says lo tzikach o mashma loshon kiddushin. Then the chinuch in Kuf Tzadik Hey says veloshon kicha mashma loshon nisuin. So the chinuch clearly says that kicha means nisuin. So you have a stira in the chinuch on a few pages. Here loshon kicha mashma loshon nisuin and lo tzikach mashma loshon kiddushin. So there's a stira in the chinuch. Sorry? Oh, maybe, no, but he wants to explain Mamish Nafkeminas. Because an Nafkemina is when it says Lo Sikach, when you're not allowed to take Isho Bito, does it mean I'm not allowed to marry her, or I'm not allowed to have intercourse with her? And if I marry her, am I over Isho or not? Without having intercourse. Yeah, if I give a Kidushin. So this is the whole shmuz here in the Gemaras and in the Chinuch and etc.
I heard that the Russian king for Israel only had a two marriage,
Yeah.
or they didn't have the Kiddush, but they were accepted as married couple because they were living together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, they had the kids already, but they were accepted as a married couple,
Yeah.
even though there was no Kiddush.
Kidushin. That's why.
How do you explain that?
Yeah,
The
because
beer is enough.
beer is enough.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy.
No, no. So, yeah, you can.
Oui, mais les enfants, si la femme, elle a des enfants.
No, de toute façon. But what he says is something very right, that there are some who want to, because we don't know what Nissuin is, there are some who want to say, you know what, if they live together like husband and wife, it's for sure Kiddushin. Kiddush beer is also one of the kinyonim. Yeah, I understand, but they live together, so they made beer. Once they made beer, this is a Kiddushin. And therefore they are married.
You could be married without kavod.
Oh yeah, why not? It's not without kavona. It's they live together in order to. Yeah, but okay.
You for brokerage service or whatever.
Yeah, but I know when you go when you learn into yeshiva in Ponevezh, then you would say no, it's not enough. But here we have thousands of cases. What do we do? And because basically we need to solve a problem, so but this is a good Kidushin. No, they don't need. No. Why? We can't, because it's true when you go into the details of the halacha, then you need kavona, and she has to agree, and then it's a kinyan, and etc. But when you don't have it, then you want a big kol chumre to find all the pictures of how to do it. What you say to a chosen, that you have to be koine, and you have to do it, and the ganze meister like paying the chuppah, and we create a stress. And why not? But it's good to try to do everything correct. But if it's not, then maybe the living together, and maybe the kiddushin, when you sign by the thing, is maybe it's kind of a kiddush shtar. You understand that you have a paper, a wedding. How do you call it? A wedding certificate. Maybe that's the shtar. And okay, the husband didn't give it to the wife. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. You can try to find coolest in order to avoid having problems of. Starting to do weddings again, and then the children are not.
But the question is,
No.
No, but the ksuba anyway. Even you don't write the ksuba, you have to pay ksuba. Chazal. Yeah, but that's also the rabbonon. Of course, it's not like a thriller. It's not like a thriller.
And the children are few.
But of course. Even if you don't get married, even if a one-night stand, the children are Jews. Un one-night stand. Ils ne sont jamais pas mariés. Ils ont seulement vécu, ils sont sortis en boîte et puis ils ont vécu ensemble et elle est devenue enceinte. L'enfant est juif, il n'y a pas de problème. Pas de problème, encore moins un problème. Mais c'est sûr qu'ils sont juifs. Si les deux sont juifs, les parents sont juifs, si la mère est juive, alors l'enfant est juif, ça n'a pas d'importance dans le mariage. Oh, I know.
You introduce the religious part here, no religious part.
Yeah.
And by the way, what different here? What you think the past? What is the again?
Yeah, but
is totally different.
I know. So I'm taking opinions to develop a concept. But there are so many opinions about what I just said, which are not like the way I explained. That it's basically we don't have to go l'chumre because there is a Rambam and because there is a Rashbo and etc. And then to say that maybe the children are mamzerim, we don't know what the Rashbo holds. But the question, why don't we recognize them as mamzerim? So Bezdin will say the Rashbo holds that.
Yeah. Your concept, whatever opinion it is, it's trying to say your concept. For everybody, I'm not going to say, but you need to have something religious, inside the union of two people.
Yeah.
If you don't have this stuff,
Yeah.
the religious part, which brought by Amram, if everybody
Yeah.
agrees on this,
Yeah.
it's not considered as a marriage.
Yeah.
Here in the case you bring, there is no
religious
so they
act.
do it, so it's not
Yeah.
considered, doesn't matter, you can live
Yeah.
together.
Now, this that we have to say that Amrom brought, this is only the Rambam, and it's a hypothesis that this is what Amrom brought, because the Gemara does not mention that. It's the Rambam that says that Amrom introduced mitzvahs in Mitzrayim. And so the Toknas Pania, the Rogatchover, says it is the wedding. And then we explain that it's the religious part of the wedding. Whatever it may mean, either it's the Kidushin or it's the Nissuin, and we have this whole stuff. But that's only hypothesis. Based on the Rambam, it says that Amrom, and then based on the Rogatchover, and based on the way that I explained it, it comes out that if you don't make the religious wedding, it's not a wedding. I agree.
But we get the Torah meanwhile. In the Torah, it's clearly part of, you need this religious aspect in the Torah in order to affect it to him.
Where find me a Torah that if we don't find that, because Eros in Kiddushin is not a religious act.
Exactly.
Kiddushin itself is not a religious act.
Never existed in the story.
No, but what I'm saying, yeah, but it's not.
So that's the only point.
I don't know. I'm just saying that the for me the religious act would rather be in the Nissuin than in the Kiddushin, and you want to learn the Kiddushin is the religious act, which I agree. I will not disagree with you, because there is no, you can learn both opinions. What? Start what, the Kiddushin? Yeah, okay.
We are like working for you.
Yeah. No, but the act, the religious act, what he wants to say is not that it's a mitzvah, but the Kiddushin is a religious act that adds to a normal wedding. No, yeah, but he want to say what we added on in what existed already before the Torah. Yeah.
Couldn't have been after. There was some papers on the religious or what it is, and somebody says before la religion.
We need toilet paper for religion. Yeah, okay, yeah. But I understand what he wants to say. I understand. Of course, everything we do is religious, but what he wants to, his point is that Amrom seems to add the religious part. And so what did he add? So we said if Kiddushin, then Kiddushin means that it is a religious act. I agree. I'm just explaining that it's only within the Rambam and within the Rogatchover and from the you know what I'm saying?
Without the taking of giving the ring,
no, not necessarily. You can that's what we said. Bio is also. Non, mais même son bague, la Mishnah dit que si quelqu'un vit avec sa femme et vivent ensemble, consomment le mariage, ça suffit. Si elle est d'accord pour se marier avec cette... Non. Ouais, ça c'est le kinyan. Bia c'est le kinyan. Après le Rambam, ça c'est le... D'après le Rambam, l'argent est rajouté plus tard. N'a pas été dans le temps de Moïse Rabbeinu. Les gens se mariaient en vivant ensemble. On rentrait la femme et on vivait ensemble et avec ça on se mariait. C'était originellement après le Rambam. Tu peux pas être d'accord, mais c'était comme ça que... there is a medrash that says that no, that indeed, that Amrom introduced the giving of money, that he threw money to her, seemingly that he introduced the concept of marrying with money. You can give her money, and with this also she's married. It's a balagan. That's why it's so wide, and this I'm just trying to give you two schools in one little particular element. This concept of married or not married, or married and half married and then completely married, has all kind of repercussions also in Ilchos Truma. Because if a woman marries a Kohen, even if only a Kiddushin, she is allowed to Minat Torah to eat Truma. Right? First of all, anyway, even if she's a wife, why would she allow to? She's an Israeli. But because she's part of the patrimonium of the husband, everything that is within the husband's household are kohanim. So if a kohen buys the Evet Knani, it belongs to the kohen, and he can eat truma. Not only can he eat truma, he can even eat kochim, which we can't eat. The chosev shoik is the Evet is allowed to eat. I'm not allowed to eat. Chosav Shoik, but an Evet Knani that belongs to the house of the Kohen is allowed to eat Chosav Shoik. And not only an Evet, even the behemoths, the animals of the Kohen, that are allowed to eat Truma. My behemoth is not allowed to eat Truma. So everything that belongs to the house of the Kohen becomes Kohanim. That's one of the things. So it's very important to know from what level, from when is she already considered in the house of the husband. There is also on Jewishness. If I buy an Evet Kanani, then the Evet Kanani becomes Jewish. Why? Because I'm Jewish. Yeah. So the Evet Kanani, if I buy Evet Kanani and it comes to Pesach, he has to eat Korban Pesach. He has a chiyuv to eat the Korban Pesach.
But he needs the bris.
He needs a bris. The Torah says he needs a bris, but
Why
after
because
the
he's a bris, but he has to do the mitzvah of the woman.
yeah,
Why?
but and a woman also has to eat Korban Pesach.
No, he has the mitzvah of a woman.
For a woman,
Why
yeah.
not the man?
Oh, that's Chazal learn. There's a limit. But for the moment, he's a Jew. He's a completely a Jew. Why is he a Jew? Because he belongs to a Jewish man.
And when he gets
And-
paid.
Oh, that's another shaila. When he gets free, does he remain with? Normally, he stays a Jew. It remains. It is not. He stays a Jew
He
normally.
has the mitzvah of a man.
Yeah. I don't think that there is a clear gemara about that. But normally he is remains a Jew. But normally it only becomes Jewish because he becomes my property. And the moment that everything that is within my property becomes Jewish. That's why my behem is not allowed to make, according to Beishamai. No, my behem is not allowed to do melocha on Shabbat. There's the issur melocha for a behem, and it's my behem. No, a goyish behem is allowed to. My behem
Your behem is not allowed to work for you.
is not allowed to work for even for another goy. If I borrow a behem, it's a problem. Yeah, today we don't have Baruch Hashem this problem, but when Beishamai we have another problem. If I borrow my car to a goy, I rent out cars, and then he makes Shabbat, he drives, and according
You
to
make money out.
no, but it's
No, you're not allowed to make money on top.
no, that's the drabonon. That's only drabonon. Talking the rice now. So that's the now. In order to understand a little bit, so why does the Torah always speak about kicha as a marriage? I just wanted to introduce what Manitou says. It says in the postuk. It says in the postuk all the time when how did Hashem created the woman. So it says, "Vayiven Hashem Elokim es hatzela asher lokach min Odom, v'ish vayiveh leOdom, vayemer Odom etzem ma'atzomoi, v'sov yikor isho ki meish lukocho zoed." It says, "Vayipel Hashem Elokim tardemu al Odom, vayishon vayikach achat mitzaloiso, vayizkor." It says, "Vayikach achat mitzaloiso." Then it says, "Es hatzelo asher lokach min Odom." So a woman was taken from the man,
We were paid.
and so I didn't say contrary. I want to say that lekicha means intercourse, with wedding, is wedding. So that's very nice. Why? Because a woman was taken away from us, and what do? When we marry, we return lokach. We do the kicha back. So the same kicha that Hashem took us from us, when we get married, we also call it kicha because it's getting back to us. And when we are together with a woman, we are back to what was missing from us is completed. And that's why the lotion of kicha eventually started. I've seen that for money too. I'm not sure that that's what he means, but that's a very nice combination. So we saw that we have Nissuin and we have Kidushin. We saw that Amrom added something, and according to the Meforshim, it means that he married her, the Kicha. And then we said two schools, one that learns clearly Kicha means Kidushin, and then you have one that clearly says that Kicha means Nissuin, and there's a posuk mefurish, asher eiraf ishto veloy lekocho. Kocho means intercourse. And we saw in the Shita Mukubetzes that the Nissuin can be the right, that if a husband lives with his wife without Nissuin, it's mamish like he is boiler an Eshes Ish. Aber Eshes Ish Gomor, it says the Shita Mukubetzes name of the Rashbo. So the Mesira is for me the ceremony to bring to the husband, and this is what the Zohar explains, that the idea is that the parents of the color bring the color to the house of the chosn. That's why the chuppah should belong to the chosn, theoretically. This has influences on truma for kohen. It also has influences is I'm not allowed to marry the sister of my wife. What happens if I didn't marry my wife yet? I only gave a Kidushin. Can I marry her sister? You understand? So what happens if she's not mamish my wife? From the postuk, there's all psukim and limudim, but this is also very important. And I will not go now, but the Miyuhudi already spoke about that the same concept, that why am I Jewish? Because my father was Jewish, not because my mother was Jewish. I spoke about that Friday night again. I spoke about a few months ago, or maybe a year ago. I said that the reason why I am Jewish is because my father is Jewish. Yes, the reason is because my father. If my mother would not be Jewish and my father would be Jewish, then I would not be a Jew. Why? Because I didn't marry in the house of my father. I was not born in the house of my father, but I was born in the house of my mother's father. Because the Kidushin was never chal. A Jew, a goy cannot marry a Jew. And so the Kidushin is not chal. And so when you have a wife, a not Jewish wife, my mother will not be Jewish, and even if she gets married with my father and have a child, this child belongs to my mother's father. Okay? This is my chidush, and I spoke about it, I'm 100% sure, because there is no logic to say that for everything it's the father. A Kohen is only the father. A Levi is only the father. An Adoini is only the father. A Moyavi is only the father. A Ammoni is only the father. A Mitri is only the father. But when it comes to Israel, suddenly it becomes the mother.
But we can check who the mother is.
Yeah, but that means, in other words, that the Etzem is the father. No. It's always the father. I am Jewish because I'm telling you, I'm 100% convinced personally, I'm Jewish because my father is a Jew. And Jewishness also goes to the father. The only problem is that if the mother is not Jewish, then there is no wedding. And so when the child is born, the child is not born in the house of the Jew, but is born in the house of the non-Jew. Yeah. What?
Hitler was right.
What do you mean?
If you know it's Jewish, you're Jewish.
No, but I'm saying the mother has to be a Jew also. Of course the mother has to be, but it's not transmitted. It's only a simon and not a sibber. It's not that my mother creates me a Jew.
My mother is not Jewish. So would be a goy or a Jew?
A goy.
My mother is not Jewish.
It's not Jewish, a goy. 100%. I'm agreeing. There's no nafkimin in the halacha. But we say that the Jewishness transmitted to the mother. I say, no, it's not transmitted. It's still transmitted to the father. But it has to be... No, If the husband... there is no logic to say that it goes through the mother, that the Jewishness is transmitted to the mother. Why suddenly Jewishness is transmitted from the mother, and a Kohen, and a Levi, and a Mitzvah, and a Doimi, and Moavi? What? Yeah, no, that's how people think, but it doesn't make sense for me. This is my Ari Porush opinion. I don't change the halacha, chas v'shul. I'm not saying that there is now this, according to me, a goy. And I just explained that Chazal give us a simon that if the mother is Jewish, by definition, the child will always be Jewish. It's only a simon, but it's not that the Jewishness is transmitted through the mother. It's only a siman. Because if the mother is Jewish, then whatever happens, either she marries a Jew, then this child is born in the Jewish house, or she marries a Shaygit, and then the wedding is never happening, and then the child is born in the grandfather's house. But it's always through the male. We are a religion patriarchal. There's no logic to say that the Jewishness should be matriarchal. Why? Why would you say that? There's no logic. It's a simon. It's easy to remember. The mother is Jewish, okay, then the child is always Jewish. Yeah, I agree with that. If the mother is Jewish, the child is Jewish. But the question is, why is the child Jewish? Not because the mother was Jewish, but because the mother was Jewish. Then there is either Kidushin, and then I'm born into her husband's house, and therefore I'm Jewish. Or even if she married a non-Jew, but then she remains by her father's house. And since the father is...
The marriage is not hal.
What? Since the marriage is not hal. There's no wedding. You can't marry her. Yeah, kind of. This Shovel Beis Ovio, very nice. It goes back to Be'etzem, she still never went out officially from her parents' house. She's still in the parents' house, and then I'm born in the parents' house. And they are Jews.
So he marries a Goiter, he's Jewish, he marries a Goiter, so
that's it, because she's
why
still...
do you say father and his parents are
No, because I'm born, she gives me birth. Yeah? I'm born from her. Where is she?
Jewish?
Yeah, you have to know where is she? Where is the mother? No, because I'm born from a woman, and the woman is, where is the woman officially? In which reshut is she? Where is the official address? Où est l'adresse officielle? Non, ça veut dire, si le mari n'est pas juif, alors elle reste chez son père. Elle passe jamais, son adresse officielle ne passe jamais chez le père, chez le mari. Parce qu'elle reste chez son père, et alors l'enfant est né chez le père de la mère. OK? Salut. OK? Non, c'est-à-dire que nous sommes patriarcal. Mon chir, c'est qu'on reste patriarcal. Et que c'est pas, on pense chaque fois, on est matriarcal. Ouais. Ouais.
On peut voir ça à l'envers. Le fait que la sœur est patriarcale, c'est pas l'idéal. C'est une réalité de l'époque. Mais quand on parle de nouveau-né, on parle de l'idéal du goût.
C'est matriarcal. OK. Peut-être. J'entends ce que tu dis, mais... Ouais. Moi, je sais pas, moi, je vois la théorie patriarcale sur tous les points, tous les points, c'est patriarcal. Non, mais même dans la théorie. OK.
Aujourd'hui, la femme a plus de droit.
Ouais. OK, peut-être que c'est pour ça qu'on l'a. Mais de toute façon, ça ne change pas. It doesn't change. No. Okay, if you like it, I don't mind. Because there is such a concept that we believe that it's the mother that gives the Jewish neshama, that she produces the Jewish neshama is coming out from the mother. There is this concept, this Kabbalistic concept. I'm saying you don't have to go all the way there. And I'm saying that when you read it from pure dry perspective, it is the father. It's always the father, and there's always been the father. For everything, it is the father. Like I explained you, for the korbanos, for the trumas, for avodim and shpochos, everything, it is the father that creates, that gives over the Jewishness, or the Kohen, or the Levi. Everything is the father that gives. And so I don't understand why we have to start saying, it's logic, it's true what Chazal is saying. Of course, I'm not arguing. It's the mother that gives the Jewishness. Of course, it's the mother, it's the simon, but it's not, I'm not a Jew because my mother was Jewish. Because my mother was Jewish, then I am born in my father's house. So whatever he is, I am. So if he is a Kohen, I am a Kohen. If he is a Levi, I am a Levi. If he is Israel, I am Israel. If my father would not be Jewish, then I would not be born into the Goy's house. I would be born into my grandfather's house, which is the father of my mother. Or then I would go to the great-grandfather. Somebody has to be Jew. Somebody, as a man, has to be the Shvotim, the 12 Shvotim. If a Jew marries a non-Jewish, then yeah, the non-Jewish, if it is a Marike, that he marries a Marike, then Marike's father is still her address is in Marike's father, and the child that is born is in the father of just the father of Marike. That's all. C'est bien comme ça, c'est ça que je dis, ça ne fait pas de différence. Dans les faits, il n'y a pas de différence. Les phrases, je ne dis pas que, à cause de, comment j'explique, lui, c'est un goy, ou lui, c'est un juif. Ça ne change pas. Ça ne change pas le concept, ça ne change pas. La loi ne change pas. J'explique simplement que ce concept de dire que c'est la mère qui donne la judéité de l'enfant n'est pas, d'après moi, n'est pas juste. C'est tout. Mon opinion est que c'est pas juste. Ça reste le père.
La mère peut être juive et absolument pas religieuse ou pas savoir.
On ne parle pas de ça. Ça, on parle pas. Non, mais ça, on parle pas. Je parle vraiment, est-ce qu'il est un juif, le gars s'il donne des Kidushin à quelqu'un, on a besoin d'un guet, il est marié avec quelqu'un et qu'il meurt sans enfant, est-ce qu'elle a besoin de yiboum? Il y a des différences, alors que c'est un juif ou pas un juif. Mais je parle, est-ce que quelqu'un est juif ou pas juif? Ce n'est pas parce que la mère lui donne ça, mais c'est simplement parce que c'est le père qui est juif qui donne sa judéité à l'enfant. Mais il faut que ce soit né dans son patrimoine. Et une femme goy qui se marie avec un homme juif ne passe pas dans son patrimoine. Un Evet Knani passe dans le patrimoine parce qu'il achète. Quand il achète une femme, entre guillemets, quand il se marie avec une femme, étant donné que dans la Torah, c'est écrit le Stratenbaum, ça ne passe pas. Elle reste tout le temps chez son père. Même qu'elle vit chez lui, ils vivent comme, mais ce n'est jamais juridiquement, ce n'est jamais passé du père vers le mari. Et alors, elle reste là-bas. What, sorry? No, unless, yeah. If she is a Bascoin, okay, then there's another problem. I don't know. So if she's a Bascoin, she never got married, she just lived with a goy, the child is born, is born. No, that's a nice one. That's a very nice one. I like it. That's a nice one. So if she is a Bascoyan, then according to what I'm saying, the child could be a Kohen.
He will be a mamzer.
No,
because she got married.
No, that's nothing. She's not a mamzer. A goy is not a mamzer.
I'm married to a Bascoyan.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. To the child. His child would be a Kohen. Okay. It's a very nice nafkamina. Now you found me a nafkamina. Because, but it's maybe taka. Maybe, I don't know, but it's a very strange case to find. We have to try to find a makor for that.
Germany will have loads of them, no?
Yeah. No, but to find a makor in the Gemara or in the Mishnah or in the Poskim, to find a case, the Bas Kohen that married a Shaiget, and then they have a child, if the child is a Kohen, according to what I'm saying, the child is a Kohen. And if you say normally, maybe not, but it's not really what I'm saying, but yeah, I understand. We can.
Amrom wasn't allowed to remarry her.
Why? That sounds okay. Yeah. Well, Amrom was not allowed to marry her in the Torah. No, not only that. She is his aunt. She's a Chois Oviv. A Chois Oviv, one of the Erves in the Torah. So Amrom had already a problem of marrying Yocheved. Was a sister of Kohath. Rashi says. So he even was not allowed to marry her. You see here, it's very interesting that the one that the Moshiach is always born from.
Not so close to the girl.
It's unbelievable. I don't know. There is something about. Yocheved was the sister of Kohath. Yeah. And the girl was the father. So you're not allowed to marry the sister of your father. It's a law. Achois Oviv is one of the Aroyas. Yeah, she was the daughter of Levi. Yeah. She was his aunt. You're not allowed to marry your aunt, your father's sister. And she married him. So you have a lot of questions. Yeah. The other way, yes. The daughter of your brother you can marry, but you're not allowed to marry the sister of your father. Torah does not let you. So may we be solche Tage. Yeah, may we be solche Tage to the Gule Shlemu Meru B'Yomeinu Amen.